Why is Fritz Haber, the man who saved a billion lives, hated by many? A question as complex as the man himself. Born in Breslau, Prussia, now known as Wrocław, Poland, in the year 1868, Fritz Haber was raised in a well-to-do Jewish family. From an early age, he showed a keen interest in the world of chemistry, a fascination that would shape the course of his life, and indeed, the world. Haber's academic journey began in his hometown, but his thirst for knowledge soon took him to other renowned institutions across Germany. He was a bit like a sponge, soaking up all the knowledge he could get his hands on. With every passing day, his passion for chemistry grew, setting the stage for his future as a controversial figure in science. A promising start for a man destined to leave a significant impact on the world, don't you think? So, how exactly did Fritz Haber save a billion lives? Well, let's take a journey back in time to the early 20th century. Haber was tinkering away in his lab, focused on a seemingly impossible task: synthesizing ammonia from nitrogen and hydrogen gases. Now, you might be wondering, why on earth would someone want to synthesize ammonia? It's not exactly the kind of thing you'd put on your to-do list, right? But here's the kicker. This process, which would come to be known as the Haber-Bosch process, was about to revolutionize the world in an unimaginable way. You see, Haber's process made it possible to produce ammonia on an industrial scale. And ammonia, my friends, is a key component in the manufacture of fertilizers. Prior to Haber's discovery, the world relied on natural sources of nitrogen, such as guano deposits, to produce fertilizers. But these sources were becoming increasingly scarce, and without enough fertilizer, food production was seriously hampered. Enter the Haber-Bosch process. With this method, we could now produce ammonia and therefore fertilizer in abundance. This development led to a significant increase in food production worldwide. No longer were we bound by the limited natural nitrogen resources. We could now feed more people than ever before, saving countless lives from starvation. And it wasn't just about saving lives. The Haber-Bosch process also changed the face of agriculture, turning it into a booming industry capable of sustaining our growing global population. But Haber's achievement wasn't just recognized in the agricultural world. The scientific community also acknowledged the magnitude of his discovery. In fact, in 1918, Haber was awarded the Nobel Prize in Chemistry for his groundbreaking work, a fitting recognition for a man whose invention would have such a profound impact on the world. So there you have it. The story of how Fritz Haber, armed with nothing but his scientific knowledge and an insatiable curiosity, made a discovery that would save a billion lives. It's no wonder Haber was awarded the Nobel Prize in Chemistry in 1918 for this groundbreaking discovery. But why is this Nobel laureate, this savior of a billion lives, also a figure of hatred and controversy? Let's travel back to the tumultuous times of World War I. As nations clashed, the world saw the birth of chemical warfare, a practice that horrified and shocked the global community. And at the heart of it all was Fritz Haber. Haber was instrumental in developing deadly chemical weapons, most notoriously chlorine gas. This wasn't your everyday household chlorine, mind you. This was a lethal weapon, a gas that could be released on the battlefield, causing devastation in its wake. Once inhaled, it would react with the moisture in the lungs, creating a corrosive acid that would choke and blind soldiers, leading to a slow and agonizing death. But why would a man who dedicated his life to saving others through science turn to creating such deadly tools? Well, Haber was a patriot. He believed that by creating these weapons, he was serving his country, helping it gain an upper hand in the war. It's said that he even oversaw the first successful gas attack at the Second Battle of Ypres, where thousands of soldiers fell victim to his creation. This is where the ethical conundrum lies. On one hand, Haber's scientific breakthroughs in ammonia synthesis saved countless lives, helping to solve the world's food crisis. On the other hand, his work in chemical warfare led to the deaths and suffering of thousands of soldiers. It's like he was a chef who baked the world's most delicious cake, only to sprinkle it with arsenic. The dichotomy of Haber's work is a haunting reminder of the dual nature of scientific discoveries. They can be used to save lives or to end them, and in Haber's case, he did both. The man who fed the world also created tools to destroy it. Quite a paradox, isn't it? How did Haber's life pan out after the war, and what is his legacy today? After World War I, Fritz Haber's life took several unexpected twists and turns. He embarked on a somewhat quixotic quest to extract gold from seawater to pay off Germany's war debts. A noble cause, you might think, but alas, chemistry didn't play along. His efforts were in vain, proving that not everything that glitters is gold. As the political climate in Germany began to darken in the early 1930s, Haber, of Jewish descent, found himself falling from grace. Despite his immense contributions to German society, he was ostracized. His patriotism and loyalty to his homeland were questioned, and his position as the director of the Kaiser Wilhelm Institute was untenable. In 1933, he left Germany for good, a man in exile. Haber's final years were marked by a sense of displacement and disillusionment. He passed away in Switzerland in 1934, a world away from the country he had once served so diligently. And so we arrive at Fritz Haber's legacy, a tale as multifaceted as a well-cut diamond. On one hand, he's the man who gave us the Haber-Bosch process, the cornerstone of modern agriculture that has helped to sustain billions of lives. On the other hand, he's the father of chemical warfare, whose deadly legacy has cast a long, dark shadow over history. Haber's life serves as a reminder that science, in the wrong hands or used with ill intent, can lead to devastating consequences. He also exemplifies the tension between scientific progress and ethical considerations. Today, we remember Fritz Haber as a complex figure, a man whose work has both nourished and destroyed lives. His story is a potent reminder of the power and responsibility that comes with scientific discovery. Fritz Haber, a man whose life story is as complex as the chemical reactions he studied. So, why do people hate Fritz Haber even though he saved 1 billion lives? A question that has been circling the scientific community and beyond for years. To summarize, it's the duality of Haber's life and work that causes this discord. On one hand, he's the genius behind ammonia synthesis, a breakthrough that revolutionized agriculture, feeding billions around the globe. A savior indeed, if we consider the hunger crisis he helped to alleviate. However, the other side of the coin reveals a darker truth. Haber, the same man who fed the world, also played a pivotal role in developing chemical warfare during the First World War, a fact that's rather hard to swallow, let alone forget. So, we're left grappling with this dichotomy. It's a classic case of Jekyll and Hyde, but without the potion. Perhaps the question isn't why Fritz Haber is hated, but rather how we should remember him, as a savior, a villain, or something in between.